Hello, welcome. Excuse me. Okay, Channy update. I've been chatting with her all morning, so I'll just summarize. I'm not gonna read all the chat. Um, and so she is currently in Vietnam. She had gotten a passport, which takes about a month, can take about 2 weeks. Uh, I told her that, it is that it's the lying, that why do you feel like you need to lie, right? Um, is she still in danger? Could be. I'm not going to worry about it. Uh, Here's baby Wilbur. Sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts together here. You know, um, we know as adults that usually people will lie because they're afraid of some kind of consequence of the truth, right? Maybe they're afraid of rejection. Maybe they're afraid of some kind of punishment. Um, she should know that those are things she doesn't need to fear with me. But when you've been in a pattern most of your life where these are survival techniques, it's hard to get out of those habits. All right. So I understand that. Doesn't make it right. Um, so she's admitted that she did go to see her father, but only for 5 days. She was only there for 5 days. She's been in Vietnam, not maybe at least 2 weeks. Um, so all this elaborate messaging and sending pictures like, oh, I'm at the bus station, I'm going to meet the boyfriend. No, she was already with the boyfriend at his house in Vietnam when she's sending these messages. My mom saying she's getting ready for bed, checking in. I am live streaming now about it. Okay. Um, yeah, so so she's sending me pictures this morning, and yesterday, making up this story that she's at the, and she was last night. I mean, she sends me a message, I'm at a hotel in Phnom Penh. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. No, she's in Vietnam. And then this morning she says, okay, we're at the bus station and we're going to go to Vietnam and then only for a few days and I'll come back and all this kind of stuff. Well, she's already in Vietnam. Uh, Not only that, she went to see her father with the boyfriend to introduce him to her family. You know, so all of the, and I called her on it. I called her on it and said, this is not, it's it's the lying and the fact that you just left. I told her, I said, when I made my trip to America, we planned it for months. I made sure that you got all the supplies and everything that you needed for while I'm gone, you have everything you need to take care of the animals, to take care of the house and everything. I made sure everything was set up. But she just I actually, the day that she left, I had gone to school to teach from 9:30 to 11. And while I'm in class, she tells me that she got this emergency phone call from her family. She had to go see her father for 2 days, blah, blah, blah. When she basically probably on that day, she got a call that her passport was ready because she had already applied for the passport. When I got back from the US, I told her, I said, we can travel together. We'll get your passport. It costs money, so we need to save for that so that we can get your passport and then we can travel. But even when I'm saying that, she already went down to the government office where you get your passport, did her fingerprints, gave the picture, paid the money that the boyfriend gave her for the money to pay for the passport. All of that was already in play. Right. So, yeah, I'm guessing she got a call, said your passport's ready. I'm too good or nice. No, I have no regrets from having her here. She's been a great help to me, for sure. So I don't have regrets in that way. But I've been here in Cambodia for 18 years. So I know how to take everything with a grain of salt, or you might say, watch my back. I've been watching my back, right? This baby, I need you to stay down. So yeah, she already had that. And the dynamics, baby, I need you to stay down. I'm going to put her, she jumps up here again. I'm going to put her outside and close the door. So before I get into that, let me put her outside. Okay. So she left, I think, on a Thursday. And when I got back from the US, I said, there's this thing called Walk Street in Phnom Penh, where along the riverside of Phnom Penh, they set up booths. And so we went down there, we found the person that was in charge of organizing it, and she talked to them, and the booth is $10. And as far as I know, we're supposed to get one that next weekend. Well, apparently he told her if there is one available, he would give it to us, but he didn't guarantee that we would have one. She did not communicate that to me. And I didn't talk to him directly until later. All right. So she gives me this information that we're going to have a booth, that it's $10. I get 2 banners printed up to hang on the booth. I design them. I send it to the printer. I get them printed. That's $10 each. So that was $20. We went to Macro, which is kind of like a Costco, to get, make sure we had like boxes and, like paper boxes and containers and things that we would need to serve the food. I went and bought food. And I even told her at this time that this money that I'm spending, we need to make back at the booth, because this money is for my Wi-Fi bill and my electricity bill that I still had to pay this month. Not yet, but like in a week and, a week or two, I would need to pay those bills. And that's what this money was for. So we need to make it back. Never once stops me from spending this money, even though I told her how crucial it was. And then, so Saturday and Sunday night is supposed to be the booth, right? And on Thursday, she says, oh, I have to go, or maybe it was on Wednesday, oh, I got a call. I have to go see my father. I'll be back in 2 days. I'm like, okay, well, make sure you get on the bus on Friday so that you're back here Friday evening, so that Saturday we can cook everything and prepare everything to sell on Saturday night. Yeah. Okay. When she knew she had her passport in hand and she went to see her father with the boyfriend, and that they were only going to be there for 5 days and then go to Vietnam to meet his family, leaving me holding the bag. Right? These are consequences that she was not thinking about, that she doesn't have the education level to have critical thinking about. And this is something very I'm sharing this with you, not to speak bad about Channy, although it is bad, and not to put down Cambodia in general, but to let you know the reality. And like I said, I've been here 18 years. I've seen real, worse manipulation, where I think in her case, she was only thinking of herself and not thinking about the ripple effect that would occur based on her actions. She didn't have the critical thinking, right? She's not like a bar girl that gets with a lonely guy from another country and makes him believe she's in love with him, and then actually they're old, they're on medication, and they will actually overdose them or withhold the medication so that they're not getting the proper medication they need, and they end up dying of a heart attack or whatever. But it was actually because the bar girl wanted to kill him to be able to have his money or whatever, right? That kind of thing happens. That's not Channy. But Channy's way of thinking is very systemic throughout Cambodia because of a lack of education. And they value education and they want more education. But currently, there is still a lot of uneducated people. She did not finish elementary school, much less high school, or have a college education. Yeah, Mumsy says people all over do the same thing. Exactly. So this is why I'm opening up and sharing about this. And also, I know you guys love Channy. Like I said, she's been a wonderful help to me. So basically, she has said that they only give a 1-month visa, and her visa expires on the 7th. So she has to come back on or before the 7th. And she, and meanwhile, I'm calling her out on all this stuff, that the lying and the way she left without, if she wanted to leave, I'm not a slave owner. She doesn't belong to me. If she's 27 years old, if she wants to leave, she can leave. And I knew when I took her in that it could just be, I felt like it was destiny, and I still do, for us to come together for that time. Okay, for that time. I wasn't going to say anything about that like that to her, but I knew that, yes, we're meant to be here. I'm helping her. She's helping me. It's a symbiotic relationship. And for however long that lasts, I've lived long enough to know people come in your life, people go out of your life. Some people stay in your life. That's one thing about parents. I mean, some people are estranged from their parents, but when you're not estranged, your parents are the ones that are always there for you, So anyway, I told her, the lying and also the way she left, that if she wanted to leave, all she needed to do, that we need to plan that. We need to find somebody who's going to be her replacement, and she needs to train that replacement, right? So that I have somebody to take care of the pets and to clean the house at a minimum. If they want to learn how to cook and things like that, I can teach them those things too. But at a minimum, to take care of the pets and the house. Okay. That would have been the right thing to do. And then she could go on her merry way. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So the problem is the way she left and the lying, and not only verbally lying, but like sending pictures to make me believe that what she's saying is true. She sent me a picture of sitting in a waiting room, which is supposed to be the bus stop, and everything on the walls is in Vietnamese, not Khmer. But she's telling me she's in Phnom Penh waiting for the bus to go to Vietnam. She has no idea that I can see through this stuff. And I know the truth, and I know when she's lying. And yet she just keeps complicating it. And then she's, she's giving me all these reasons about this or about that. And I'm like, and I had said to her, you don't even realize that the explanation you're giving me is proving that you were lying before. So I called her out on the fact that you're not even, you're making all these excuses, but you're not remorseful. Because I figure Google Translate can translate remorseful. You have no remorse, you have no shame. You're not being remorseful. So then she says she's sorry. So now she starts showing remorse. Okay. And she's like, if you don't want me to live there when she said, I'm coming back to Cambodia. I'll come back to the house. If you don't want me to live there, I'll pack my things. I'll move out. I'll find a job. I'll get a guest house. And I said, we can discuss it when you get back. Or I didn't say when, I said if. Yeah, you can't handle lying. Exactly, Mumsy. So I said to her, if you come back, we can discuss then whether or not you can stay. And leaving it at that. And I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to hear anything else, So she says her visa expires on the 7th. Yeah, the trust is gone. Exactly. I figure the way I kind of feel right now is that she should stay to help take care of things until there is a replacement that she trains and leave the right way. That's kind of at the moment how I feel. I could change how I feel. But that's where I am right now, how I'm feeling. In a sense, it's kind of like she owes it to me to make it right. A kind of a form of restitution. But as Mumsy says, the trust is gone, and mental health and therapy. There are some places that offer that. There are some NGOs that offer that. I would have loved before, during the past year, to help her get mental health, because knowing that she had been through an abusive situation, both with her family and after that, And that's why she was going to be, for anyone who doesn't know, she was rescued from being about to jump off a bridge. And I was at the police station just filing paperwork, and she was there, and I asked the police, well, would it help you and her if she came to live with me? And they said yes. And I know about depression. I know about mental health. And so if she's feeling that bad about her life that she's trying to jump off a bridge, then she's got a mental health depression, a clinical depression, or she's got some kind of circumstances that are making her feel that bad. Right. So I knew that taking her in. Right. Don't dwell on it. It'll only make things worse. Yeah. I hope you can see my attitude is okay. I'm not crying. I mean, I will tell you the last couple of weeks I have felt kind of devastated because I felt like I was in this hole, right? That she, and not really having a lot of communication with her, not knowing the depth of everything that I've just explained, right? And then, just me trying to survive every day, taking care of the animals every day, not having any money to, running out of dog food and cat food, and like, well, what do I have in the house that I can feed them, and things, now some of that pressure is off. So I'm actually feeling a lot better today than I have in the last 2 weeks. Not because Channy made me feel that way, but because I was feeling the pressure of having to do everything by myself. And that was difficult. And that was devastating and depressing. But, I felt somewhat paralyzed. Kept trying to think, what can I do to, to change the situation? What can I do to take control of this situation and change it and make it better? Trying, and not seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. I go to class every day teaching at the university. I go to the tutoring, and that money will come, like on the first of the month for October. For November. But what do I do about right now and getting in and the Wi-Fi and the electricity and getting to November 1st? So that pressure was coming down on me, and debilitating. It was very debilitating. But I hope you can see I do feel a lot better. So what's going to happen with Channy? I don't know. You can still pray for her that she gets her mind straight, and that, she's still with a dangerous person that has a prison record. Hey, I listened to a Convict's Thoughts and Robert on true crime, and people that I have a cousin that I love. People can go to prison and get out and rehabilitate their lives. Okay, that can happen. Also, that Christina girl, she was in prison. So there's just some YouTube references. A little help from friends always helps. Hang in there. You didn't really know what was going on. It makes it harder. Yeah, for sure. So just the fact that he has been in prison alone doesn't mean anything. But what he was in prison for, which was grape, right? Melanie, I gave credit to Melanie Littles. That's what she says. And I kind of feel like that it wasn't I still stand by the fact that he probably did a lot and just got caught for that. And then being in Cambodia He was working at a scam center. He was not one of the trafficked workers, but he was someone high level at the scam center. And those people are usually torturing the workers. So, not a nice person. And also the fruits of the tree, you can say, does his relationship being a boyfriend of Channy, does that make her a better person or a worse person? Well, let's look at the fruit of that tree. No, being her boyfriend has just created more lies and everything. So, yeah, the behavior is not good. If we can look from the outside at relationships and say, look at all the red flags. And when we're in a relationship, we don't see the red flags, right? So what can I do? I just be supportive. This Channy friend who is a scammer, the boyfriend, yeah, the boyfriend works at one of these call centers. But when I say work, he's not the one sitting at the computer making the phone calls, because those people are imprisoned. And he was able to go to the cafe every day where Channy was working, which tells me he's part of the leadership of the scam center. Right. I mean, me, I'm on the outside. I can look and see. I can see the picture. Right. It's obvious to me. But for Channy, she's being sweet talked and told all these lies. He's telling her lies, you know, and I can, if we know about domestic violence and how abusers control their victims, he's everything that I know. All right. I don't know everything. She's not telling me everything. Everything that I know is classic moves that a controlling abuser will do. But she's an adult, you know, and I know I went through it. And sometimes you just have to be by someone's side and be supportive without condoning the behavior, but try to be there to help them when they fall, in a sense. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. That's the update. And that's life in Cambodia. I put this in the Real Cambodia playlist. You know. So, alrighty, guys. I've got to get going to my tutoring. And then James wanted my help this morning. He said I'd meet him at 11:30 after my class. If you know someone is and you kept be told not be around, they will stay with that person. Right. I think what you're trying to say is that if you push too hard, you push them more into rebelling against you and closer to the other person. You know, exactly. So you have to find the balance. Anyway, yeah, my son James wanted. I said, okay, meet you at 11:30. I waited until 11:40. He didn't show up, so I came home. Yeah, right. And then, so anyway, now I got to go to tutoring. See, I'm still keeping my schedule. What I got to do is my writing. I have a freelance writing gig that I just have not been able to get my head into it and to do it. And if I don't do anything, I'm not going to get paid on November 1st for that. So I've got a couple weeks left. It's the 22nd. I need to get my head into that. I think now that, like I said, that pressure is off, I can get more focused and get some of that writing done as well. So even if I don't get paid the full amount, I can get paid as much as possible for that. So, and I have a training this afternoon with the university. There's an online training session, so I have to do that today. Today is a busy day. I know what's happening exactly. I'm not blindsided. by the situation and stuff. But whatever your heart says to pray for Channy, then you do that. And but that's the update. And I know I didn't say it on my last Channy stream, but I'm gonna say it here. Love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you're hearing this, I love you. Okay. And that's a truth. So, all right. And since I'm doing these live streams during the day, I may or may not do, and it's such a busy day today, I may not do one in my evening, your Wednesday morning. If you're in the US, your Wednesday morning. So I mean, but we'll see what tomorrow brings for Thursday. I do wanna, if we do a trivia on Thursday. Oh, pray for me. Yes, Mumsy. Thank you. I can use your prayers too. So you understand the situation. Like I said, whatever your heart, whatever is on your heart, you go ahead and pray for me too. Day by day. Exactly. Day by day. Yes. All right. So until the next time, catch you later.